Thank you. तुमको पूरा नमस्कार हो. So many people on the audience and very eminent personalities sitting here. Our English analyst, if you don't mind, with Dr. Mohan Pai and everyone being here, it is such a pleasure, Makanga, to be a part of this. And when Nandagopal and I are good friends and long friends, but we haven't met actually. It is just a coincidence and a very pleasurable, nice coincidence. Phone तारिकपडी उलयता आसताची, but I was abroad for most of my career. Salpars Pudmant Makshelo. Tashi Mangalore, of course, येताची every year on a holiday or something, but आमकां घेवन परत जेन्ना मेळूं जायना, old classmates and all of this. So ताण म्हाका सांगता हाजे विशय it was very close to my heart. Education is very close to my heart. Learning is very close to my heart. And when he said, can you join? I said, of course, Angyu Chak Bari Kushi. So, first of all, tumko pura namaskar and congratulations on whatever you are pursuing at the moment. Pura, all of you are very young. And I think what I learned from him is that you are pursuing your graduation or a post-graduation or some other studies. And this camp is also very exciting. Different skills are being imparted. You are being given experience and lots of different things away from academics. And all of this ultimately is very, very helpful when you think about it for a very long term as you pursue your careers and whatever that you desire. So when he asked me, can you speak a couple of words? I was thinking, what can I speak? There are so many people here. All of you know what you're doing. What can I really add? But maybe I thought I'll just give you some thought, and I'll share with you my own thoughts of, having gone through my education, my studies from Mangalore, and then gone to other cities, gone abroad, and now come back. I'll give you maybe a few of my own learnings and Megale insights. Hope that is helpful. First of all, I think all of you are very lucky, and I think all of us are lucky because we are from Mangalore. Mangalore has always been a place of a lot of promises. A lot of people have gone from Mangalore to do big things. A lot of people have enjoyed the ecosystem in Mangalore, all the learning. This is an educational hub. This is a hub for medicine. It's a hub for lots of things. We take it for granted because we take it for granted. But when we go out and we mix with lots of other people, we think back and say, we were lucky to be coming from Mangalore. And so I think all of you are very lucky as students from Karnataka, from South Canada, from Mangalore, Udupi, or wherever you are from. Secondly, I think where things are going, as Nandagopal briefly alluded, India's GDP is so much. India's GDP is growing maybe 4 trillion at some point. But the point is, I think we are all very fortunate to be in India. India, amongst all the countries, I think is well placed to continue in terms of a broad-based activity. It is not just in one narrow discipline. India is actually growing and attempting to grow in so many different spheres. And we can talk about it. But India is one place which I find to be very exciting because most of the other countries who have already developed, including the US, are now struggling. Most of them are going through a lot more challenges. Of course, we have our own challenges. We have a big population. Everything is competitive. Everything is a bit of a struggle. But there are lots of opportunities in India. Whereas in most other countries, the opportunity set is actually, I would say, shrinking. Tashi, tumko you are now at a point, you are now in a place where I think the world is your oyster. You can really, really think and shoot for lots of big things to happen to you, to your families, to your career. And I think it's a very exciting time. Tumipura, you should take advantage of that. Coming from Mangalore, I can tell you, you're very well placed to be a part of this growing family in India and abroad. So that was the first point that I thought I should make before I maybe spend a couple of minutes on other things. because we should not. We should always figure out where we are and where we are going. And I think we can only go based on our ecosystem and where you are residing, as in your country. Since India is so strong, I think take advantage of it. Make the best use of it, because most people who are abroad don't have this opportunity, and that's the reality. 20, 30, 40, 50 years ago, we used to look at places abroad as what we should be aspiring to do, to go and all of that. Then pura change ala in the last decade. Most of that has changed, and it's changing very fast. So that's exciting. Secondly, I think from my own learnings and from my own perspective, I thought, how does one plan? How does one plan, and maybe how do you plan for what you want to do, and how do you succeed in what you want to do? So I'll speak a little bit about that, and then I'll end my remarks. I think first of all, I feel that for everything to happen, there needs to be a strong foundation. When you build a building, when you go do something, when you build a family, anything to do, everything has to have a good foundation. So the foundation is what we take for granted, and many times we don't have full control over it. The foundation, for what you are going to do will be a part of, where have you studied? Whom have you met? Whom do you know? What is the environment in your family? Who are your friends? How do you spend your time? What are the habits you have inculcated? And all of these things, which we don't speak of, is actually our foundation. And you should always think back and say, what is my foundation? Am I very strong in this? Is there something which I can change? We can't change everything, but is there something which I can change to improve? Maybe I go to a different college, maybe I study different things, I learn. What is my foundation? Because I can tell you that for the next 20, 30, 40 years, it is that foundation of yours which will help you to go forward. It is not just about another degree in something. It's not just about trying to get one skill. It is really that foundation in terms of where you are. So try to make as many friends as possible. Try to find out who is your mentor, and try to seek a mentor who can guide you always. Go back to your roots and be very, close to your roots, your family and your friends. And all of this will help you in a very, very long run. The next level for you, I think, is about what are you studying? What are you doing? That's your domain. That domain, of course, is probably most of what we speak about. Am I going to be a doctor, an engineer, a CA, or a computer scientist, or a space scientist, or something else? Now, that is the domain. We speak most of the time and associate people with the domain. The domain is, of course, very important, because without that, nobody will hire you for a job. You cannot proceed. So the domain is very critical, and you're already doing that. But please make sure that you distinguish these things. So in terms of your domain, whatever you are pursuing, whether it's an engineering course or biosciences or anything, there is no one thing which is better than other. But you should try to excel in your domain. I think that's all that I would say. Don't take it for granted that, okay, there are so many engineers, there are so many chartered accountants, there are so many commerce students. Yes, but then in the long run, when you try to succeed, when you go to and join an organization or pursue your own profession, I think you succeed in one of two ways. I think there are only two ways, in my view. One, because the world is competitive. We know there are a lot of people. India has a lot of people. How do you become successful? You become better than others. So if there is maybe 20 doctors, then you say, okay, I am going to be really good at something. Or if there are 20 chartered accountants, you say, my specialization in chartered accountancy is going to be this, that, and I'm going to really do a good job of serving customers and growing. I'm going to be very focused, so I'm better. That's one approach of bringing customers and trying to grow. The other approach is trying to be differentiated. Now, this is somebody who's achieved a lot told me this many years ago. I still remember this. And the other way is to be differentiated, which means I don't have to do the same thing, even if I'm pursuing commerce or arts or medicine. I can try to pursue something else that may be good for the future. So even if you are learning medicine, you don't have to become a doctor. You can be a research focused person, and you can maybe focus more on the new healthcare technology that is coming, so that the healthcare technology will take over a lot of things which the doctors do. So how do I become differentiated? By doing something else. The same thing with commerce, same thing with engineering, the same thing. So either you can be better than others or you can be differentiated. And you have to make a choice. And that choice will guide you, and that choice will also, I think, make you successful. So, so that's as far as the domain is concerned. And be very, very audacious. Be very ambitious. Not ambition because you have to achieve something and you need a medal or you need a rank or you need X amount of money or you need. It's not about that. It is about trying to excel because you have been given an opportunity. The fact that you are here is because you are given an opportunity. And I think you should not, you owe it to everybody else who has given you opportunity. You owe it to yourself to be the best in what you do. So think about that when you pursue any domain. And there is no one domain which is better than others. So feel free to do what you like. The third thing, I think, is with respect to maybe the skill. Now, domain is not good enough. It's not good enough to become good in commerce. Because when you go out and and you will interact with lots of people, you will be with some organization or you will pursue your own business or profession. And in that, at that time, you will find out that, oh, I should have had this skill and that skill. So learning skills, and I know that Kshitij is trying to already prepare you for that, which is very exciting. But learning skills is an independent success factor. And there are lots of skills. There's no one skill that you say, okay, this is good enough. It's a continuous process. And in some jobs or in some places, you need a different skill. But what are some of the common skills I would say at least you should have? I think the first, not in any order, but the first is about communication. Communication connects you to people. Communication helps you to get your point across. Communication helps you to succeed in debating and actually winning your point across. And communication is a common thing that is useful in any field that you pursue. So communication, please focus as much as you can on communication. Take every opportunity to communicate. Take every opportunity to learn more about communication, the art of communication. How do you present? How do you interact with people as one-on-one in communication? How do you interact with people in groups and communicate better in groups? Because more and more of communication will be just a secret sauce for your success, not just the domain. The next, I think, is also in terms of people. How do you interact with people? How do you lead other people? How do you lead a team? Lots of things which you would have not done so far. But those are all exciting things and you will get an opportunity. But how do you work with other people who are better than yours? How do you work with other people who are more specialized than you? Everything, I think, is something that will help you. And you have to be open to that. And you have to constantly look for an opportunity to do that so that you can become better. So skills is something which I think is kind of really the bread and butter on top of your domain. Now, skills also lead to sometimes other technical things which is not directly associated with what you're doing. For example, computer skills. Now, computer skills, when we did our CA, we never used computers. Computers, we didn't know. We knew, but we didn't have experience. And it was just the onset of this technology around computers and Yampura. But when I first started my job, I was exposed. I was exposed to computers. And in those days, the computers were still way, way beyond what we see today. but I was exposed to computers and I had no skill. Even today, I can't claim I have a lot of skill in that, but when you are exposed, you have to learn. When you are exposed, you don't have a choice. And in order to stay in your job and grow in your job and succeed, you have to learn. So then you spend a lot of time, and you don't think I'm a CA. It doesn't matter. You say, what do I need to get this done? So learning skills, and especially computer skills today, which are more advanced, is fundamental to everything. Even if you are the best in what you do in terms of your domain, without having a reasonable amount of affinity towards computer skills or skills in finance, because finance is the other one which bridges everything. Try to make an attempt to go out of the way and learn something. It will help you again and again and make it very easy for you to deal with others who may have come with much more computer skills, much less skills in the domain that you are pursuing. But if you're not a part of the team, how can you succeed? So to be a part of the team, you have to know all these other things. Now, of course, there is the next avatar, which is AI. So we talked about computers for the last 20 years, and in the last 1-2 years, we are hearing more about how artificial intelligence, machine learning is all, now becoming faster and faster being adopted. And in another 20 years, another 10 years, by the time you are settled down, I think that will become the next layer which becomes important. Not what I said, but what will come. And therefore, how do you understand AI? How do you understand, your own domain for the sake of AI? And how do you use that? So all of this, pura artificial intelligence is something not meant for others. It is meant for all of us and in whatever we do. So to think about that and continually plan for the next 10 years. Think long term. That's the other thing I learned. No point when we are usually studying, we think short term because we say we have to pass this exam. Next 2 years is very important. Next, maybe I have to finish my PhD or something, which is a very definitive goal, time bound, short term. But in reality, what will help us is really by thinking very, very long term. So because you don't want to get boxed into one area because you've thought about it short term and then find that the world is changing so fast. As I said, India is changing very fast. Everything is getting disrupted every few years. And the way of life, what we do, everything is changing. So how do you succeed while all of this is going? And in fact, how do you take this opportunity? 20 years ago, I think this phone we would have never believed. When I studied and when I was in my phone, we never thought, we never had a phone. And हमको phone चिल्ला गानो और करते चलो and घर का भाई सुनो गुंडा नो call कर करते चले. Wing at city चला. We used to have something called a telegram. Now people say, did you really have something called telegram? So. But the point is, in 20 years, 15 years, whatever, now this phone controls lots of things. It controls almost everything. Now, the next phase is even more exciting with AI. So far, all of you have been used to typing Google and using Google to do a lot of inquiries, a lot of reading. Now, after 10 years, another 20 years, somebody will ask you, did you really spend time on Google? Did you really have to type and then look at all the 20 queries and the 20 queries you have to understand? Now, by just asking a question, somebody like ChatGPT or Perplexity or somebody will give you an answer. You don't have to type anything. So, about 20 years from now, somebody will say, were you spending time on Google? Google was... So, things are changing. So, skills are very, very fundamental in many ways. And finally, I want to end by saying one more, maybe last thing which comes to my mind, which is on top of all of this, which is your foundation, domain, and then skills. The final and most important also is really your mental model. So everything what we do and what we want to learn, what we want to achieve is about how we think. It's how we think for long term. It's how we think about everything. So how do you plan your mental model? How do you create habits? How do you, really stay focused? It's really about your mental model. And so, what is a mental model, Meghal Prakar? Mental model is really about your ability to think and practice again and again long term. I see a lot of people, we are all very busy with everything that we do, and that's quite natural. When you start a CA practice like any of us would do when we come on, we both CAs or a doctor, life gets very busy because, and when you even go and pursue a job, you say, I'm lucky to get this job. Now I have to make sure that I succeed in the job, and it's very difficult. So I'm going to be very busy. But I think apart from being busy, the mental model is about trying to take time and thinking back every day. It's not overworking yourself, but it's really being smart about it. So think about, okay, what is the next 5 years going to be, next 10 years going to be, and pursue that. That's one part of the mental model. The other part of the mental model, and this is my last remark, is really about how you take something and put your entire focus on that each time you do it. So maybe for the next 2 years, something is important. After that, something. So while you have the long-term plan, how do you each time succeed? Because you can't succeed long-term. You can only succeed 20 times short-term. That makes it long-term. So how do you succeed every little thing? And that is about focus. I will end with a quote which is attributed to Swami Vivekananda, who he's claimed to have said that in life, take an idea, make that idea your life. Take a single idea, make that idea your life. Think about it, you dream about it, you live all the time. Make it entirely your life. Make sure that your brain, your body, your nervous system, your muscles, your bones, everything is full of that just one idea, and leave every other idea alone. And when you do that, you automatically achieve success. And that is how spiritual leaders are born. This is the great Swami Vivekananda. I think it's a lot of things for us to learn. So with that, thank you. It's really nice to be here. Thank you.